You know, the crypto community, the Bitcoin mining community, is enthusiastically supporting Donald Trump. Why? Because Trump is going to protect freedom. And Kamala Harris is a fellow traveler with Elizabeth Warren and those that want to shut Bitcoin down. There's a reason people are coming to Texas. Because Texas, we protect freedom, we believe in entrepreneurship, and we also have abundant, low-cost energy, and that's critical for Bitcoin mining.
Most significant climate change law ever. And by the way, it is a $369 billion bill. It's called the, we should have named it what it was, but at any rate.
There's a confusion about China, and let me at least give you my opinion. The popular conception is that companies come to China because of low labor costs. I'm not sure what part of China they go to, but the truth is China stopped being the low labor cost country many years ago. The reason is because of the skill, the quantity of skill in one location, and the type of skill it is. Like the products we do require really advanced tooling, and the precision that you have to have in tooling and working with the materials that we do are state of the art. And the tooling skill is very deep here. You know, in the US, you could have a meeting of tooling engineers, and I'm not sure we could fill the room. In China, you could fill multiple football fields. It's that vocational expertise is very deep, very, very deep.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms, because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
Misinformation is the one where I a little bit have to punt and say, okay, we've handed this problem to the younger generation. You know, my naivete that when we made information available, that people would want correct information. Hearing my daughter talk about how she'd been harassed online and how her friends experienced that quite a bit, you know, brought that into focus in a way that I hadn't thought about before. We have contexts where we want correct information, like hopefully when we want medical advice, but then we kind of like in our, you know, community and enclave having shared views that, you know, kind of pull us together. We should have free speech, but if you're inciting violence, if you're causing people not to take vaccines, you know, where are those boundaries that even the U.S. Should, you know, have rules? And then if you have rules, you know, what is it? Is there some AI that encodes those rules because you have billions of activity, and, you know, if you catch it a day later, the harm is done.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And make sure you go to TikTok, like and follow. New videos are coming out. And guys, where is Biden at? He is the President of the United States. You can't make this stuff up. Now we have Tim Cook on China. Says that the labor cost is not cheap anymore. And we know that's definitely not correct. But if you're young, when you're listening to Tim Cook, you may believe him. But when you're old, and then also you know history, you know he's definitely not telling you the truth. We know the United States was the leader in manufacturing. These corporations moved all the manufacturing overseas in order to get cheap labor, but then also gave them the skills. The same skills we used to have, They gave them to China, same way China is moving these skills over to India. And the United States became a manufacturing company over to a service company. If you don't make anything, if you don't understand how to make things in order to survive, you have to rely on your government and big corporations. It's very easy to understand. That's why they don't want you growing your own food. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And you know the crypto teacher gives you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. And we have Harris on speech. And we know, guys, it's called free speech. We have Bill Gates on speech, which they call misinformation. And I'm not going to say what I want to say, but we know they gave us a lot of misinformation when it came to the C word, when it came to inflation. But no one's held accountable. But guys, the last nail in the coffin is controlling information. Remember, guys, they used to burn books back in the day. They had these books, they get all the knowledge, and then they burn them. And now, because we moved over to a computer-based system, now only thing they have to do is push a button to delete all the information from you. They're still going to have the knowledge. The key is the knowledge, guys. They're going to maintain that knowledge, but they're going to keep it from you. That's the reason why when you look at these search engines, you got to go to page 100 in order to get the truth. That's why they give you that first long page. So therefore, you only get to see what they want you to see. You can see how they're programming these search engines. And when you go on social media, they have all the foolishness sitting right in front of your face. And that's the reason why the sheep stay distracted. Anything educational, you got to go to page 100 like I stated. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And now we have the Fed ready to cut rates as the economy is tanking. Like I stated, guys, they're going to be cutting rates, but inflation is still here. The fact is, it's too late. We know the legacy market is over. But as the legacy market is crumbling, we know AI, robots, algorithms, and drones are going to replace it. So right now you have two economies running. One is going to fall, the other one takes over. And we know that's going to come from the emerging markets. The rise of China, the dragon, and the fall of America, along with the world reserve currency. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. But before we can get there has to be that crisis. The drums are going to get to beating. And even though the banks fund both sides, the military-industrial complex makes billions, and we see they always come together. We've seen the movie before. If you have my NWO book, it was the same banks and same corporations that have benefited from every war. Maybe a little change in name, but it's the same people. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Not otherwise acting as a labor market that is breaking down. It's not breaking down, but it is skating awfully close on thin ice. And I think that's the part that Jay Powell is most concerned about. He sees the window for his legacy here on nailing a soft landing as narrowing as we move into the fourth quarter, given the pace of hiring that we saw in the JOLTS data as well this week is more consistent with a recession or much higher unemployment rates than what we've seen. Now, we don't know any rules of thumb. We know we've breached the SOM rule. We know Claudia herself has said rules are meant to be broken, but there is weakening in the labor market. When you look at the 3-month moving average on job gains at 116,000, that's within the range of not different from zero in terms of significance. And I think those are the issues when you also look at the big three that have been driving job gains: state and local government, leisure and hospitality, and healthcare and social assistance. Those three sectors also had major losses in the number of job openings at the end of July. And so that begs the question is, what is going to be the momentum going forward, given that the relay race that have been going on with the least interest rate sensitive sectors carrying employment? Is there a risk that we now see a bigger pinch in employment as we go into the fourth quarter? That is the risk. The Fed, it's a heavy lift to get to 50 basis points. I agree with Steve. I think it's going to be a weak retail sales report, just given the vehicle sales alone. But also, I think there's some broader weakness out there. It's a heavy lift to get to 50 basis points, but I think we're still at 1% in cuts by the end of this year.
We want to use their technology. It's a form of accelerating R&D. So we're seeing that. You mentioned Palantir, perfect example. We're a subcontractor to Palantir. They won. We thought it was the best probability of win for the combined team to let them be the prime. And then the business case closes. So we're working collaboratively with them. I think that's unique. I think that's different. And you know better than I, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, not a good situation. And those countries are collaborating more than anyone ever expected to, which just makes the threat environment very, very dangerous. And we need a strong defense industrial base and national security posture.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book Plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.